A lot of people have the view of nature, that nature is cruel and hostile, but I think that nature has, like a human, different sides. Sometimes it's on a bad mood, sometimes it's on a good mood. So I think that to accept both the good and the bad parts of nature, then you understand the nature. So I think a reindeer herder has learned to accept both parts and always to adapt, either it's hot or cold or good weather or bad weather. So in one way you are adaptable.
The Sami people have practiced traditional reindeer herding since the 17th century. Reindeer herding is more than a profession. It's a way of life.
The life of the reindeer herder, it's very hard. Because during those times that the reindeers are really migrating or moving from one place to another one, or the most intense working parts, then you can have up to 2 or 3 days without any sleep. Then if you have bad weather at the same time, so sometimes it's very hard, but often, and the most part of the reindeer herding is a very nice way of life.
To be a good reindeer herder requires many skills. First and foremost, the herders must know their reindeer. This comes from close observation of the animals throughout the year. The herder must know the behavior and movement of the reindeer and understand how wind, geography and climate will affect their behavior and movement.
Reindeer herding is a form of agriculture and meat production, and this means a very narrow set of issues from a management perspective, but from a Sami perspective there's a lot more involved in terms of culture, and one of the problems is it's just not so profitable anymore, and climate change may make that more of an issue. It may decrease the ability to make enough money to even keep reindeer herding.
The reindeer herders used to live in a lavu, a portable tent that is the house for the family. Today they live temporarily in the mountains in small solid houses. During the winter, the village is mainly inhabited by the herders, but in the summer all the family live there. 83-year-old Niklas Labba is the oldest member of the Labba family and is today retired. He's been a reindeer herder his whole life and has been able to observe big changes in the climate. I want to speak about the changes in the weather, the changes from earlier times until now. The first snow came in October. That used to be normal. Today, in October and November, there is rain and wet weather that creates an ice layer. This ice layer does not melt. It stays the whole winter. A cold winter with deep snow is very bad. It is when reindeers starve to death.
The things that the climate scientists started predicting in the 80s have now become a bit more normal. We could even say that the fall comes later. The permanent snow on the ground is coming later each year, and the springs are coming earlier. That means snow is melting out sooner, and it also means the temperatures just aren't as cold in the winter.
The warmer and wetter autumns are making reindeer herding especially difficult. Today, Niklas Labba and his older brother are running the family business and can see the direct effects of changes in the climate.
If you have a condition that is coming more and more often now, it's rain on ice. If you have a layer of snow, about 15 centimeters, and then you will have a rainfall for one day, it will eliminate the level of snow. The snow will go together. And of course, the water will go through and go to the bottom. Then that water, if there will be a cold weather again, will freeze to ice. And that surface will make that the reindeer can still cross the surface. But then you have all the lichen, everything is inside ice. And when the reindeer eats that one, it will get too much water in the stomach, and then it will die, if it will be forced to eat it. The losses during a winter with no access to the soil, it can be catastrophic. You can have 10,000 reindeers in an area, and during that winter you can lose up to 90% of it. So you cannot do anything, because the stomach system of a reindeer is that if it doesn't have the right food level all the time, the bacteria die, and then you cannot do anything. They will die.
The increasing frequency of what scientists would call rain on snow events or thawing and refreezing events. This has become more widespread across the northern hemisphere, but of course here where we have reindeer herding, that's a big issue. Another one is more snow coming later in the winter. That means that you have deep snow in the spring, and it's harder for animals who are already weak maybe from a couple of these icing events. It's harder for them to dig through the snow and get to the fodder.
The problem with the water on snow, it's a very serious problem. A lot of areas now, reindeer herders are trying to get artificial fooding to get the reindeers to survive. Yes, that is a short-time solution, but artificial fooding will not be a long-time solution because there is not the economy to get the fooding artificially.
The first global review of reindeers has shown that populations are declining almost everywhere they live, from Alaska and Canada to Greenland, Scandinavia and Russia. Over the last 20 years, numbers worldwide have plunged by almost 60%.
For Sami, the main challenges for climate change come in two spheres. One is the direct interaction with animals, making sure they get enough feed and survive the winter in a healthy form and give birth to healthy calves. The other comes from the other land users. This is not just a Sami area. There's forestry, there's tourism, there's all these other things going on that we can't ignore and the Sami can't ignore. So if we add climate change on top of that, it's another level of stress and another issue that may make it, if it's a marginal livelihood already, just maybe making enough money to survive till the next year, climate change may be something that can push it a little bit over the edge.